tell us about the Mile High Rangers. Give us a setup of that, the new band.
Yeah. So, I had just gotten to like Four Way Stop. Those guys are really trucking right now, and they were playing a ton of shows, and that's exactly what we set out to do. And I had just gotten to a point in my life where, number one, I didn't have the time to do it, and number two, like I wasn't there anymore. I didn't enjoy being on the road so much. I wanted to be with my wife. I love, one of my favorite things to do at the end of the day is just be there with her. And even though we could still do that, we were so swamped with school and work that, the weekends would be the time to do that. And we just didn't get that time. And I'd gotten so burnt out, and I was like, I'm taken away from these guys. These guys have something, and I don't want to be the person that keeps them down. So I told them, I just told them everything I just told you, and they took it with a lot of grace. And, I helped them get a new guitarist who's, that dude is freaking amazing. Zach Koch can play circles around anybody. And I didn't even plan on starting a group. I had just told Autumn, I was like, I'll do a solo thing and just play when I can. I would like to play in a band one day, maybe in the next couple years. And then one of my buddies, Dax Smith, he's like, look, man, I mean, we could just write music and don't have to do anything, just write music. We don't have to record it. And I was like, yeah. I was pretty fresh from leaving Four Way Stops. It was, I was not ready at the moment. Then he just kept talking. And Dax is a good salesman. He's not a salesman, but he could be. And he just kept telling me, like, let's write some music. Let's do this. Let's do that. And finally I was like, okay. I'll think about it. Then I met Cole Hill because, well, I had known Cole for a couple of years by this point, but he asked me to record, like be featured in one of his songs called The Deep End. And I decided to just kind of shoot to him like, hey man, where are you at in your music career right now? And he's like, well, I'm actually kind of phasing out of a band that I've been playing with. And I was like, oh, me too. And he's like, yeah, I just don't really have time to gig like I have been. I don't want to focus more on just really recording a lot of music and instead of gigging a ton. And I was like, oh, me too. Yeah, that actually sounds that sounds like the same situation I'm in. So I told him, I was like, I've got a couple buddies, we're wanting to write some music and put pretty low expectations on gigging. Just write it, record it, gig when it makes sense. So, that started kind of working out. And another buddy, Michael Potts, he had just gotten out of a band, and we were all kind of looking for something. We didn't know what it would be, and he agreed to do bass. And we don't have a full-time drummer, but we've got a really talented pool of guys that we take from. Me, my wife, my buddy Dax, and his wife, we all went to Denver to watch, well, I guess it's called Morrison, to watch this group called Lord Huron at Red Rocks. And we were staying in the Mile High City, and we went to the national park, and I was looking at it all, and I was like, you see that park ranger right there? Yeah, that's what I want to do with my life. I just want to live in the mountain and talk to you and nobody else. And obviously you too, Cole, because we're doing this podcast.
Right.
And we were just kind of coming up with band names, and, none of them stuck. Everything sounded cheesy. And who knows, Mile High Rangers might sound cheesy too. But I was just like, Mile High City, Mile High Boys, Backstreet, no. And then I was like, Mile High Rangers. What about that? And I kind of said it as a joke. And we were all walking. We were in Colorado Springs at this point, and we were all dog tired from hiking. And they were like, yeah, that sounds good. I think they were probably tired of me just throwing out all these horrible band names. And like the next day I asked him, I was like, hey, so what did you actually feel about the Mile High Rangers thing? And Dax was like, oh man, I thought that was awesome. Yeah, I loved it. And Autumn was like, yeah, that's really cool. Because Autumn's a great graphic designer. She's like, oh, I could make so many different designs with that. I was like, perfect. And shout out to Cole, shout out to Michael, and they loved it. And, then we just said, all right, I'm going to book a gig right now because I know that if I don't book this gig, we will never get together and do any of this. And we've got a single coming up called Blind Faith, and we're really excited. I mean, I've never gotten into the studio and recorded a song, got it mastered, and will be released so quickly. I mean, Cole Hill really grinded in the studio, got everything recorded, got everything mixed, got everything mastered, all within like a week and a half.
Wow.
And I'm really impressed with the sound.
I've never had that happen to me either.
Well,
it's pretty good.
That's all Cole. And then Autumn came out with one
great
of the...
name, by the way.
What, Cole?
Yeah, great. This is the best name, just in my opinion.
He probably would say the same.
Right, yeah.
But Autumn cranked out this awesome graphic for our single in literally 30 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, that's the best thing I've ever seen." She's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, like you can stick a fork in it. This is awesome."
And that's also great. Autumn is a phenomenal graphic designer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and this is kind of a match made in heaven. I mean,
Oh,
here
yeah.
you are, professional musician. You got graphic designer at your disposal. Just great stuff.
Yeah, I feel bad. I can't really do anything for her. She can make me a lot of.
You can write her a love song.
I do that, but I can't write her like a theme song for her page or anything like that. I don't think it works like that, but maybe one day it will.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
The times they are changing. If you enjoyed that clip, be sure to check out the full episode on the Words Like That YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts.
Can't have no words like that. Words like that.